Are you a real estate investor looking to sharpen your skills or a newbie looking to become one? You're in the right place. Welcome to Where Should I Invest? Real Estate Investing in Canada with your host, Sarah Larbi.
Welcome to the show, Dimitri. How are you?
Amazing. Thank you for having me. Pumped up this morning.
Yeah, you know what? I'm excited to have you on. We're doing a bit of a different show today. One of the, I think things that are super helpful to getting me here and making me feel energetic and have the confidence has been working out pretty much every day for the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years. And so when we met, we started talking about fitness and all that good stuff. So it would be, a great idea to bring you in to see if you can also, motivate and help others and help them with their mindset of why fitness is important. But before we do that, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a 30,000 foot view, a little bit of, who you are.
Awesome. So I'm Coach Dimitri Giankoulas. I'm a dad. I'm a husband first and foremost. I've been a coach for 29 years. I've been working in the fitness industry for 29 years. I started off as just a personal trainer, working in a small boutique club in Woodbridge 19, 20 odd years ago. And then from there, I moved into the corporate clubs downtown, and I kind of got a feel of what the big corporate chains were, Premier Fitness, and I was managing those clubs. And then I moved to Bally Total Fitness, which was even a bigger club. I'm not sure if you remember the Bally clubs back in the 80s. Big franchise. They're an American company. There are casinos actually that were making so much money they needed to do something with it, so they started buying gyms.
It's funny.
So I learned the whole corporate world of how to run a big club, 40,000 square feet, 30 staff. But it was just bugging me where they kept forcing me, and this is the problem with corporations when they want to keep growing. They have this fixed mindset of this is how we do our program, volume, numbers, and they're forgetting that, like, I don't know, in your industry, it's very personal. In my industry, it's personal training. It's working with members. So they wanted me to just keep being aggressive with my numbers. I use a unique body type specific approach. That's different about my program. If someone says, why you versus Sarah as a coach, I'm a body type specific coach. So my approach is different. We help people learn to eat and exercise based on the three somatotype philosophy, the ectomorphic, mesomorphic, and endomorphic body type. Each one has got a different metabolic rate. Each one can consume and metabolize carbohydrates different, and structurally they're born different. Some are tall, some are shorter, some are stockier, some build muscle really quickly. So my approach was always a free hour-and-a-half assessment, and the corporate chains didn't like that. They wanted it to be done in 45 minutes. So after many years of being in my own thing, I said there's got to be a point where I want to do something different, my own. And my wife just said, listen, just go on your own. And I asked my mentor what I should do. And in 2005, he said, listen, you're at the top of your chain. There's no more you can grow. You're the Toronto personal training regional manager. You manage all these clubs as people. He's like, what do you want to do next? I said, I want to go on my own. So my wife was pregnant with Milena. And he said, quit on a high note. So I quit on a high note.
Mm-hmm.
And I packed up my Accord and I put a sticker on the back saying, in-home personal training. And I had no other route but to build up my clientele. So we started doing in-home training, and it was successful. But again, in life and in business and in sports and in parenting, you always reach a little ceiling. And then when you hit that ceiling, you got to increase your thermostat to become a better human and high performer. So I was going from Toronto to Thornhill to Oakville and driving all day. And I said, I can't do this. I'm killing myself. So my wife and I, we said, let's open up a club. I checked out many different areas in Vaughan and Woodbridge, and I ended up choosing Dufferin Major Mac. Beautiful location. It was up and coming and growing, but there was no homes there. There's 15,000 homes being built within a 3-year period. We signed our lease, and that was 18 years ago. And ever since then, the club has been going on. I can't believe it. In 2 more years, it's been 20 years that I've been working on my own and not having to deal with a manager or a company telling me what to do. And it's been great. We change lives. We really change lives. And just like you will take someone that is in need of guidance, help, They want to buy a home. They're afraid. It's a big purchase. They're going to put all their money somewhere, and you give them that comfortable ability to have confidence and trust. And when you do that, you feel great. So I wouldn't change my career in any other way. During COVID, we were closed, and it was really, really challenging. So I ended up pivoting to an online personal training program, which ever since then has been great. And I coach men over 40 online. Doesn't matter if you're in the US, in the UK, wherever you are, if you're a female as well. We have many husbands and wives that train together, but the program's unique.
Very cool. So, okay, so there's a lot obviously to unpack here, but I love that you're a business owner and you know, essentially for many of us, because a lot of listeners here are looking to leave their 9-to-5 jobs and become full-time real estate investors and, you know, business owners, entrepreneurs, that kind of stuff. And you've done it, right? And you took that leap of faith to, you know, probably a paycheck that you were used to start from scratch. Like, what are, if you don't mind sharing, like some of the challenges that you had that, you know, maybe somebody can learn from and how you overcame those initial challenges of making that switch?
We could be here for a full 3-hour segment. I think the biggest
Yeah.
fear I had when I was going to resign was, am I going to regret this? And will my wife like hold it against me? Because I don't care about anything that happens in the world, but if it's with my wife and me, because I'm her protector, I'm the, you know, provider for her, I'm her man. But when I did, it was tough because I was so used to being in charge and having power and delegating power and having staff beneath me. And then it was like, oh my God, I got to go bring this to the client. I got to go do this. I got to go to the bank and deposit a check. And then the biggest scare factor, but again, I would strongly encourage anyone watching, we need fear to bring us, to level us up. We need to embrace the suck, as my coach told me during COVID, where when you're in a position where it's stressful and challenging and you're afraid, that's when you truly can blossom into the man or woman that you truly want to become. If not, and you're constantly comfortable and you're constantly have that seatbelt on you, you cannot grow. And we grow and we improve when we have pressure. It's like a diamond. Diamond is nothing. It's a black rock, but then when you put pressure and heat and you constantly work on it, you get a beautiful diamond, right?
That's a great analogy. And I, you know, I do agree. Like, unless you're getting out of your comfort zone, you're not growing. Unless you have challenges, you're not growing. And I think a lot of people today, everywhere, but especially I would say in Canada, and they just like to live in their comfort zone. You know, they don't want to make the hard choices or the sacrifices today, but they're going to be, you know, not living their best life in 10 years from now or 20 years from now because they didn't make the early sacrifices. And I think that's a big thing a lot of listeners here are doing, right? They're educating themselves. They're putting extra time and effort into building their real estate investing businesses for tomorrow. And there are, especially in this time for investors and people in real estate, these are tough times. And, you know, those that are going to come out of this. Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to get any more certain. Like, I don't think 3 years from now, when interest rates drop, whatever, that it's going to be a path. I think the path to success is like straight and then down, and then back up and then straight and then back down 4 steps and then back up. And without that, we cannot really, we can never say we own something. Like, I own my position. I own my occupation. I've owned my success. I've also owned my struggles. I've also owned my failures. I still own the fears that I have, but then I got to tell myself, what, if you don't try something new, you're not going to get better. And this is where now fitness comes in, because if you're not exercising, you're not slowly breaking down muscle tissue daily, like breaking down yourself in your successes and fears. If you're not training and challenging yourself and lifting heavier weight and running, swimming more, you're not going to have that confidence in life. So people who don't work out, I feel, are living an unbalanced, disproportionate, and sometimes I want to say, how do I say this in a proper way? A fairy tale life, because God made us to be able to move, and our skeletal structure, our internal organs, our bone structure, I can even go into an anatomy lesson here, but our body needs to be pushing and pulling in vertical, horizontal, rotational positions. And when you remove all that from a young lady or a young man's lifestyle or a parent, they have a weak life. Everything's going to get to them now. You know, they tried to sell 2 homes. They didn't sell them. Now they're all down, depressed. Go to the gym, work out. I just got my motivation up. Don't go to the gym, carry that depression. You don't do that listing. You don't make that close. Then you walk around with like a week and a half of no sales. And we all know what sales is like, because my job is all sales. If you sell something, you get the high, you get the little bonus, you get that little pump. When you don't, you kind of get into a funk. And without trading to kind of remind you, shake you up and say, listen, this is life. Let's go make our own challenges and let's beat them. It's challenging. And I really feel people live weaker lives, non-fulfilled lives when they don't work out.
Yeah, I do agree. And I also think a lot of people in this industry and, you know, maybe other industries, but they put a lot of value on financial success, net worth, cash flow, the amount of
Big flex.
doors, the amount of real estate invested properties that they have in their portfolio. And, you know, at the end of the day, they're going home. Maybe they're, you know, they're not thinking clearly. They're 50 pounds overweight. They have no energy. I will tell you that, you know, they really have to go hand in hand, because it really helps your mindset. And mindset is like, it really truly is 95% of your real estate success in general. And in order to get the mindset, I mean, obviously there's there's other parts to it. But fitness and nutrition is, you know, I think just as important as your financial success. And if you have your financial success, you know, but you're missing the other piece, or you're missing your, you know, relationships or your friendships. Like, I think sometimes we place so much value on just one aspect of what we think is successful, rather than, you know, being successful as a whole.
I call those fake flexes, and I usually have these little tug of war, let's call them friendly, humorous jokes with some of the men that I meet, because I do meet some men that are high performing men and females as well. And a lot of times they will pat themselves in the back from all the success they have in their company. Like, I know even some female entrepreneurs that we have in Woodbridge that are clients of ours, they've grown so big in their companies, they've expanded, their products are in the US. But I tell them, if you're not working out and you can't just give me 8 push-ups, or you can't hold a plank for a minute, you really are weak in many big areas of your life. And when you look at materialistic assets, as I'm doing okay, you know, I have a cottage, I have a few homes, the business is growing, we've got 3 cars, but I got fatty liver, I got high blood pressure, I'm type 2 diabetic. Really, to me, it's like, it's a waste of looking at the things that really matter, which is your health.
Absolutely. So a little bit ago, you talked about, you know, lifting heavy and, you know, and different things. I know everyone's going to have a different program, and they should definitely reach out to you, you know, separately to get that info. But as a general rule of thumb, I think, you know, sometimes there's maybe a misconception that like cardio is the way to go. But I think more and more research is coming out, and you can touch on that a little bit. But, you know, lifting heavy and weight training and that kind of stuff is almost better, you know, from what
Far
we're
more
hearing.
advantageous.
Right. Can you share like what, you know, on a typical week, like what for the average person, again, everyone's going to be different, but for the average person to really want to get into their best, you know, feeling great shape. I think looks come second.
So I'm going to give you two points.
Sure.
So one is the why, second is the how. So first we need to understand why. Why do we need to weight train versus cardio? First, you got to look at the energy systems of the human body. Cardio is aerobic. So if you hop on a treadmill and you just walk for an hour, half an hour, you're jogging, you're using oxygen as your main fuel source. Oxygen is great, but you're not going to burn as many calories post-workout. So if I had 2 twins with you, and I had one Sarah on the treadmill for an hour and a half at 5 speed, and then we checked her EPOC, her exercise post-oxygen consumption. How many calories her body's burning after that? And then I had Sarah, the other twin, just doing some squats, some push-ups, some shoulder press, and some bicep curls. Because she's using anaerobic energy, which is energy stored in the muscle cell, she's burning maybe 2 to 3 to 4 times as much calories after the workout, because her body's in demand of oxygen. Secondly, you need to look at a structural point of view, where think of a puppet on a string. Your skeleton is nice and strong now when you're in your I don't know, teens, 20s, 30s. From 40 and above, that thing starts to break down. The skeleton needs structure to be able to stay in proper posture. And muscle is the main organ or the most important organ of the human body. People talk about the brain and whatever, but without muscle, your heart is a muscle, nothing can transpire. Then you also have to look at, from a standpoint of aging, muscle tissue will atrophy and shrink for a female. After 35, you lose 1 pound of lean muscle mass per year, a male, 0.5 pound. Forget estrogen and testosterone that's sinking down. But you lose that not because Sarah's getting older, because if Sarah at 40 compared to Sarah at 50 didn't lift weights, her muscle's just going to shrink. So from an anatomical standpoint, we need to work out to keep the body stimulated because bones, organs, tissues, ligaments, they need pressure, they need resistance. Now the how, that's where you kind of separate them into each different body type. So if we're looking at the 3 different classifications, you have the ectomorphic body type, which is myself and you. Typically think of narrow shoulders, narrow waist, small wrists, ankles, typically longer limbs. These guys have a fast metabolism. I'm sure me and you can go for breakfast and have a typical traditional European croissant, maybe a donut, maybe an espresso, and we'd be fine. Or you probably can have pasta for lunch with a piece of dessert, and then 2 or 3 hours, you're fine. Whereas other body types, the endomorphic body type that's got a slow metabolism, would really be screwed for the whole day. So based on that body type, we need a minimum of 3 days, maybe 4, of solid weight training. Typically resistance, you want to be in a heavier load, and you want to be training between the reps of like 12, 10, and 8, where you slowly drop them down. Your goal is to lift weight, to get stronger, and to not have as much cardio, because our bodies need that strength and that tension. The mesomorphic body type, which is the middle somatotype, think of wider shoulders, narrow waist. Again, they have the small joints, small ankles, articulations, but their metabolic rate is in the middle. They gain, they lose weight easily. So I got staff, I got family, I got friends that if they work out in the same time as me, they can gain 10 pounds of muscle in a month. Meanwhile, for me to gain 10 pounds of muscle may take 2 years. Right. So they can be at a good 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and they need a mixture of metabolic training and resistance training. So the best thing for them is while they're working out, if they do a bench press and then a squat, to do some jumping jacks or skipping rope in between to get them metabolically active. The endomorphic body type, typically wider shoulders, wider waist, thick wrists, thick ankle, thick neck, slow metabolic rate. These are people that when we meet them, we say, listen, man, hey, ready to take you on, ready to help you out. But I want to explain to you about your body type. Just like if someone's buying a home, I want to tell you what you're getting into. You have a slower metabolism. Your body you're genetically endomorphic, which means we need to move 6 days a week. And some people say to me, that's impossible. Well, if you look at 2 divided by 7, that's 28%, which is garbage. 3 divided by 7, that's 42%. So if someone wants to lose weight 50, 60, 80 pounds and they're endomorphic, using this somatotype approach helps them kind of ground themselves and come to neutral, saying, listen, this is my goal. Forget all the guys and girls around me. This coach told me I need 6 days of movement. So maybe I'll do 3 days of weight training and then 3 separate days of walking or cardio or core. And it could just be 6 days of waking up in the morning, going for a half an hour walk. You got to get your body moving. And they need to have a higher protein, higher fat, lower carbohydrate diet, because someone that's trying to burn off that much body fat that has a hormonal system that doesn't do well with carbs, them having a slice of bread or an apple for breakfast can literally throw off their goals, or me and you can have it and be no problem. So when it comes to training, the lowest base should be 3 days at minimum, because again, we have 7 days of life in a week. You want to make sure you don't overtrain. So me and you can't overtrain. If we did 5, 6 days a week, we run the risk of losing muscle because of the genetic. And because of this scientific approach that we're giving you, a lot of the clubs that I've worked at, they're like, listen, it's too much talking, it's too much info, just sell them and get them in. And I'm like, but that's not what I believe in. So that's why I said, forget them, I'm going to go on my own and do my program.
I mean, yeah, no, that's amazing. And you mentioned overtraining. So probably between, November to February, I would do 2 workouts a day. And in a given week, it'd be anywhere between, I would say, 10 to 14 times. But it was in, I don't know if you've heard of Oxygen Fitness. You basically are in a 38 to 40 degree room doing a workout, and I just became addicted. I loved it. It's not sustainable for the summer because I'm
Are you
always
doing weight training in there or no? Or is it just based on?
yeah, there's different classes. So there's, definitely some weights, not as heavy as if you were to go to a regular gym, but like, at what point, because you mentioned muscle loss, right? So at what point?
Atrophy can occur.
Sorry?
With atrophy, with muscle loss,
Mhm.
then we go back to looking at the human and say, okay, what is their basal metabolic rate? How many calories are they burning per day? You
Mhm.
probably have a high metabolic rate. Maybe I would say between the women that I've seen that were very athletic and active, 16 to 1700 calories per day, where some women are like
Mhm.
14, 1300 calories. So if you wanted to do that, you could. You just would have to, carb load or add additional fuel for those days.
Mhm.
Or if you do like a weight training workout and then like a walking or a cardio or tennis or basketball later on, that's fine. So long that you space them apart,
Mhm.
because the body is like a plant and it can only handle a certain amount of trauma and stress at a certain period of time. And exercise is stress, it's trauma to the body. Lifting heavy weights is actually breaking down muscle tissue and breaking down and weakening the body to a slight degree. And then the body's natural response is to increase muscle tissue through hypertrophy, to become stronger, increase strength, to get better endurance, right?
Mhm.
So if the fuel is not there, that's a problem. If the person wants to lose weight and they're an endomorph, oh my God, power to them 2 times a day, all day.
Interesting. That's good. So walk us through, I mean, because obviously you have, lots of background in, different body types and coaching. Walk us through what your online coaching looks like if somebody is interested and they're anywhere in Canada or in the US or wherever they're listening to this podcast and they want to work with you. What does that look like?
Awesome. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up a little part of my screen to show you some stuff. So with the online coaching part, first and foremost, what we're doing here is we're making sure that when we meet someone, the first thing we need to do is, and it doesn't matter if it's in a gym or it doesn't matter if it's in any setting, we need to break down the MHG, I call it the medical history and goals. And too many times people rush into a workout, they rush into hiring a trainer, they rush into going to train a gym, and they don't stop to think, okay, wait, do I have any medical issues I should be fixing? Because as you get older, you have joint dysfunction, you have muscular dysfunction. We have tightness from people sitting all day. This occurs, this occurs. So now you have tightness in the shoulders, weakness in the traps. They don't have proper posture. So all day they're in this position. Then they go hire a coach. The coach makes them do chest and shoulders, and now everything gets even tighter. So first and foremost, we strategy call. We say, okay, where are you starting from? What's your goal? Do you have any medical background? Even though they're online, even though I can speak to someone in Brazil today, and there's specific movements that I can do with them online as an assessment, as a physio or chiro would do, to find out, one, is there shoulder mobility issues? 90% of the time, there's shoulder mobility issues or pelvis or hip, because we're always sitting down. Then we go through looking at training history. What are you currently doing? And we want to analyze what they've been doing, for how long, and what results they're at. And then the most important is the goal, the why. Why does Sarah want to build 5 pounds? Why does she want to lose weight? Why is losing 40 pounds the goal? And then when I start digging into why, I usually find out I was bullied as a child. Growing up, I had an eating disorder. Or when I was younger, there's always some trauma that's wrapped around the goal. And a lot of coaches that are young, they don't pay attention to this. And they'll meet someone, I'm 46, they'll meet someone in their 50s, and right away, oh, you want to lose weight? You want to lean to your abs? It's the wrong way to approach it. Again, young trainer, young mindset, older technique, more experience. So I like digging into the why, and I try to see if I can pull in areas of their life, like their kids are going to be happier. They're going to get more confidence for their work. They're a realtor, they're a mortgage broker. They're telling me that they're overweight and they want to lose weight. but what type of profession do you have? Awesome. Are you at your best at your profession? No. When you go to sell a home and you walk through, are you walking tall? Are you confident? When you put pictures out, do you feel great? No. Okay, that's the reason why. So then we get the why together, the medical, the history.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we do is we give them, I'm going to share my screen right here. If you can let me share my screen under the, you're going to see how cool this is. So we give people the ability to be accountable to themselves. Okay. So if I tap on here and I tap on to one of my clients who's gotten the best results I've ever seen in 29 years, this guy's dropped down 12% body fat in 12 weeks,
Wow.
over 24 pounds. But he came from a guy that was never working out ever, never training. And you basically have a full out app system where we can track everything from daily step count. Okay, we can see from week to week, are there trends? Are you more active this week? Are you less active this week? We can go into body weight. And as you can see here, person was 231. Now they're down to 202. They started March 19. So the secret to the science is making sure that people have the ability to view what's going on and to track things. Back in the older days, the personal trainer was in charge of everything, and he held the clipboard and he had everything on them. And then you'd go to the gym, you wouldn't know what's going on. But today, my client knows that he started off with 37.6% body fat, March 19, and he's at 25.6 now. That's over 10% body fat. I basically extended his life by 10 years minimum through all that internal visceral fat that he's lost. Then we go into workout wise, and we give people specific workouts of what to do every day. They know what to do. They know in terms of eating. They have
So
a customized.
Can this be done at home, or does it have to be in a physical gym?
Oh no, this can be done at home. There's home workouts. There's a workout. I give people a workout for home or for the gym.
Awesome.
And now they have a daily agenda. So this person knows I got 10,000 steps today. I'm going to log my meals. I'm going to know what I'm going to be doing. And then more importantly is this for the food tracker. The food tracker helps them see in terms of total calories per day, 1,800. Protein grams, 189. This client can actually type in and look, oh my God, I've been eating very little protein. This guy had a really big carb day yesterday, 156 grams of carb. So he went over his number, but it's okay because if they're tracking their food and they're keeping track of the workouts, they can see what is happening meal per meal. And the biggest part is we want to make sure that we help people understand that this isn't about a fat loss goal. This is about building a new core identity to who you are and your belief. Because you know that beliefs and habits are what make everything.
Yeah.
If you wake up in the morning and you have a certain routine of coffee, cigarette, scroll on your phone, then get ready, then go to work, your day is shot. But if you just change it, you woke up and you did a small prayer, you wrote a small journal, you went for a walk for half an hour, those positive endorphins are going to get going. And then that habit propels you for a new day. So with the online coaching, above and beyond what we give them as tools and tactics, we basically give you the training, nutrition, the training you need, the education you need, the workouts with demonstration videos packaged into what you got to do per day. Then we give you nutritional protocol, what you should be eating. We give you meals. We give you suggestions. We give you meal plans. And then the most important part is the accountability. So every week or every 2 weeks, I sit down exactly like me or you're doing right now. Let's say you live in Atlanta, Georgia, West, and you're busy. I have a female that lives in Texas, and she's got 3 kids. She's a single mom. So I'll meet up with her every Thursday at 4:00, and we just talk and say, "What's up? Tell me what's going on." And sometimes she'll say, "I'm having a rough week," and I just mentally go through and coach her through it. Sometimes she has questions regarding her training. Sometimes regarding nutrition. So wherever you are, we meet you and we help keep that pencil sharp. And then when you're stuck, this is the best part. You can be like, how am I going to get results? This guy's in Toronto. Like, I'm in another place. When I'm messaging you saying, hey, don't be ghosting me. We're supposed to have a call this week. If you try to skip that call again, hey, we're supposed to have a call next week. When we do have that call, you'll be able to sit down and human to human, say what's wrong, what's going on. And really, when you have someone that cares, that listens to you and is able to take that and give you back tips and strategies on how to organize your schedule, how to tweak your workout. One of my clients this morning said, it's tough. I don't got an hour to do the workout. I go, perfect. Take the workout I gave you. Instead of doing 3 sets, chop it to 2 sets. Take your warm up and cool down, chop them by 2 minutes each. Boom. There's your 35-minute workout. And instead of the guy canceling the workout or quitting it because he thought he didn't have time, he just had to like condense it.
Yeah, no, that's
And it's a
amazing.
great program. I actually have more, I don't want to say this in a negative way, but I have faster and more consistent results with my online clients that I physically don't see unless I live in Toronto than I do in my gym, because in the gym, they drive there, they go, they meet people, there's a community, you feel great, but then they leave and then they're back to themselves, where my online clients, they only meet you on a camera and everything on their phone. So accountability is very important in anything you do.
Who are not your ideal client type? So I'm assuming like somebody's going to come and they're going to need to, obviously follow the plan. They have to have some goals and
Great
motivation,
question.
I'm guessing, but what do you think?
I typically look and work with the busy male entrepreneur, business owner, business professional. If they're in the trades, that's no problem. I love working with men with kids that are looking to make a big change in their lifestyle. I'm not into working with people that when I meet with them, they tell me right off the hop what they can do and what they can achieve. Sometimes I meet guys like, you know what? Just I'm going to let you know off the hop. I know what I can do. When I keep hearing I know, Tony Robbins even says, when we say the words I know, subconsciously our mind shuts off in terms of paying attention because you think you know everything. So I don't like to work with men in that position. I love working with couples. Anytime I meet someone that's a male that wants to get in shape, I'm like, listen, is your wife working out? Is she in shape? No. Why don't we have her try too? Because you both could do together. I don't like working with people that are numbers based and, can I lose 20 pounds this month? I got to go to a wedding, or I got to go on a trip to Greece or whatever. And it's like, no, we want to do it properly. I don't like people who want to take Ozempic. I don't like people who want to do all these crash course things. Can I fast in your program? Yeah, we can have fasting portions in it, but I want you eating from the 3 macros, and I want you eating minimum 3-4 meals a day, right? And I want to make sure that when I'm working with someone, through the strategy call, I can pick up their energy and I can pick up where they are. And I would rather work with someone that is a little bit on the more southern side of the confidence, motivation level of what they believe in, versus some of them that are a little bit too confident, because they are the ones that end up never listening. When you say try to do this, they make their own plan.
Right.
And then they'll come back saying, hey, it's not working. But I told you to follow a total body program for the first month, and you're doing chest and biceps and shoulders on Friday. So something that I'm also picky, because I'm not doing this for the financial need. My club has been in operation for 18 years and it's been doing great. This is more like a hobby now. And this is more like I'm changing lives. I'm actually making a difference. And I'm doing what I love. So I'm not really working. I'm just communicating, giving people advice, and, I'm getting covered for my time.
I love that. I mean, making an impact, I think, is what, as we, become more successful in our lives is the important thing, right? Is how can we help others achieve similar results or better results, and, or achieve their goals as well, and become happier.
Just like in your profession, because a lot of people think just hire a realtor and tell them, give me a percentage off, and to some of them, that's the main thing. But I've seen horrible ones that will just steer you wrong and sell you the unit. They didn't do their background checking. And there's some that will be patient and persistent and look and try, and they work with you. So it's very important that when you're choosing a coach, you don't just choose them based on finances and being cheap,
Right.
because cheap equals expensive.
Yeah. No,
And
for sure.
sometimes when you pay a little bit more, you pay attention. And that's been my motto for years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of real estate. So the listeners here are more like into real estate investing and just buying a lot of, properties and making some cash that way. But it goes to the same, right? So if you're looking for somebody to hire to help you, make sure that they've done it themselves in the strategy that you're doing and have been successful in different markets and are still doing it. And there's all that stuff. But Dimitri, where can my listeners reach out and find out more?
Awesome. So if they live in the city of Vaughan, they can just visit Our studio, puremotivationfitness.com. Our Instagram handle is pure_motivation_fitness. And if they're interested in any type of online coaching, male or female, couple or non, coach_Dimitri on Instagram or even on Facebook. It's the easiest way. It's crazy because you used to give your phone number, used to give your email. Nowadays, you don't really need to do that. It's faster. If someone messages me today and says, hey, I saw your podcast on Sarah's podcast, it's so quick because it's almost like a resume. They can look at your Instagram handle, see a little bit of the background. They can go from there. But the one thing I want to leave all the viewers and listeners to, especially if they're real estate investment people, is your people who are in real estate and who invest, they're kind of like, they're already visionary seekers because they're looking at, I'm going to spend money today, a lot of money today. I'm going to sign a lease or buy something for a mortgage. I'm going to handcuff stress on myself today for something that 25 years from now, 10 years from now is going to be doing well. So they see that vision. And a lot of people today who have money are afraid and they won't spend money. They'd rather put in the bank where they think it's safe versus buying a home, property. So if they're into that industry, they should start with fitness first, because what better exercise, activity, hobby to be immersed in than to fix this? This is my investment. This is my Maserati, my Mercedes-Benz, whatever you want to call it. This is my 7,000 square foot mansion with a pool. And if I don't take care of this, then it's not going to take care of itself later on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great insights, great advice. And folks, reach out to Dimitri, add him on Instagram as well. And thank you so much for being on. It was a pleasure. And, I love the insights and the breakdown of all the body types and everything like that. And some of the key tips.
If you guys ever want to do another one on cooking and food, we'll check in with you guys again.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just learning how to cook now, just very recent. It's a whole challenge.
Barbecue salads, Greek salad and barbecue. You're good to go.
That's good. I learned how to use the barbecue last weekend. My friend came up and showed me for the first time ever I barbecued. So we're improving slowly. Awesome. Well, Dimitri, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Thanks so much for listening to Where Should I Invest with your host, Sarah Larby. Make sure to listen in next time. We'll catch you on the next episode of Where Should I Invest?